it! Stop with this content! Oh! Fuck, you know, dude, rent is due for the Yu-Gi-Oh! Content creator space, apparently. Oh, okay, Jesse, why is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dying? Why is Yu-Gi-Oh! Finally! We can release the shackles of the TCG and play Macedo forever. Guys, Konami are about to announce that Junk Trunk is the new format for the next however many years. Enjoy. Alright, why is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dying again?
It's a tough thing to say out loud, but over the last many years, people have been saying Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying, Yu-Gi-Oh's done for, and we've had YouTubers post online.
Everyone has been saying it's 3 thumbnails of MBT. Yeah, dude, like...
saying this is the end, pro players are leaving, and whatnot.
Team Sam, to be fair.
Oftentimes, this is sparked by a
and
bad
Roxen of all
or
people.
by one
Roxen was talking about Edison, which is the funny thing.
Player leaving or new card game being announced as competition.
This is really nice B-roll.
I've always tried to look past that and dismiss most of it as being somewhat irrelevant, but I think we actually do have a problem now. You see, I've always...
Can I just say, by the way, the one thing that I definitely forgot to include in the Macedo's dying rebuttal is the 3 major TCGs that launched during the time that Macedo was released. So this idea that Macedo is killing the TCG is completely farcical and nonsense. Sorry, Jesse, I stopped you at a bad time here. We've had Star Wars, we've had One Piece, and we've had Lorcana. Major IPs backed by big money has definitely captured a lot of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG base. I'm pretty sure like One Piece is just like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Refugee like system, you know? So it's people have alternatives and people have other games that they can choose now instead of the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG. If anything, Yu-Gi-Oh! Macedo has probably been saving the TCG from falling apart. Star Wars is not there. Okay, all right. Well, just because you don't live somewhere where it's popular doesn't mean anything. Let's just ignore the other 2 examples I gave. Just some of you are fucking insufferable.
I can think of a flaw and ignore the rest of what you said.
Well done. Congratulations. You're so intelligent.
By the numbers driven. When I see data reflect, you know, the point that Yu-Gi-Oh's in trouble, that's when I start to be concerned.
Wait, where? What? Where? I guess like Jesse's a vendor, so he might have more insight. From like personal sales and stuff. And I think maybe like some TCG player stuff is public. I think you can technically show how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is doing on like TCG player. From my understanding from Card Market, Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been about the same for a bit now. I can't like directly source it. I just know from like word of mouth. But yeah, like in terms of the numbers, like TCG, like Yu-Gi-Oh! Has been kind of fine. It's just like the boxes from the store's perspective are not good because boxes and product doesn't sell well, but singles do well. But just because singles do well, it doesn't mean product does well. You know what I mean? Anyway.
And the data I'm talking about is not necessarily YCS attendance, because for one that's only competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! I'm actually looking at a different set of numbers, and that is the secondary market in Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, if you haven't been buying products online...
I didn't know this stuff was public.
...or really been involved heavily in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Space, or maybe you're just a Master Duel player, you may have not really noticed what's happening here, but people are catching on. People realize that it's a problem, and I wanted to highlight specifically at first Team APS's Twitter post that ended up starting this kind of drama.
Wasn't it Roxen?
I would like to note this is something that vendors like myself have noticed for months now, and we've been hoping that we'd get over this rough patch. It just seems to continue. Anyways, let's get to what Paul had to say. Yu-Gi-Oh! Boxes don't seem to have much value lately. Even this new green duelist set, which are typically known for being a big deal, is this a cause for concern?
Wait, what does the color have to do with anything?
There is a stigma in Yu-Gi-Oh! That if the set has duelist in the name and it has a green box, then therefore it must be a good set.
Wait, that is such like sharpshooter fallacy, right? Like, is that like an actual formula, or that's just coincidence, right? Like, that's not like a planned thing, you know? There's no shot. You can look it up. Come on, there's no way. Go check the wiki. This is real. Oh my god, there is like a weird truth to it. Oh man, come on. All right, well, guys, if the set is green, it's a banger apparently. Wow.
Ghost Revolution.
Like that has to be coincidence. There's no way Konami are like, okay, this is a meta-defining set. We're gonna make the color green. Why would they deliberately make that a thing? Because then it sort of invalidates the other product in some way, no?
For example, all the way back in 2010 included
At Grok, is this true?
Effect Veiler, Solemn Warning, Pot of Duality, Scrap Dragon, Stygian Street Patrol, many fantastic cards. There's been others since then as well, and I think before that as well, that my memory truthfully evades because I'm not a huge believer in this type of nonsense.
Why didn't
But
you
either way,
research
let's
it,
look at
Jesse?
the price here, and you can see that it's at
Why
$47.
It's a scripted video, Jesse. Why didn't you Google it and then edit the video? I don't remember. Jesse, brother, this is an edited video. You could have Googled it.
He posted this, at least the time of my recording. You can see in the bottom right, I'm posting this. So I'm recording this on the 16th. And this was already almost 2 weeks ago. And if you bought a Yu-Gi-Oh box in the past, you'll know that's pretty cheap. Now, comparatively to what you may pay for a box from a distributor, this is less. And those card stores are paying more per box than they're selling for on TCG Player. And you know, the price on TCG Player includes fees, right? So that's going to be around 10%. And then the shipping price, which depending on where you get to ship to, it could be $5 to $7, let's say, but obviously it can vary a little more. And if you think about all that, you're losing a significant margin now on Yu-Gi-Oh products. When the boxes go this low, you run into a couple of problems. For example, one of the most notable players in Yu-Gi-Oh's history did respond to this, Jeff Jones, who also works closely with other card stores and has managed one in the past. He has some explanations for this, but importantly, this is the thing that's going to matter the most. As a store, we made the decision to stop buying most Yu-Gi-Oh sealed products over the next year. There's no excuse for a store to keep getting burned on product they can't move, and that happens. When the prices go down like this, people order.
Yeah, so I mean, there's like so many layers to this. But TLDR, like, if the box isn't like good value for your pulls, which usually consists of like high rarity staples and meta defining cards, which, you know, realistically you can't do that every single core set without affecting game design. But from a product perspective, if you don't do that, the box becomes really poor. It becomes really bad from a financial perspective. That's because the system has been set up in a way to fail. Konami have designed their boxes in a way where they have to make the way it works currently in the TCG be the reality. Otherwise, it doesn't work from a business perspective for their stores. So as much as the players hate it, that, you know, all of the best cards in Yu-Gi-Oh tend to be high rarity, all that kind of stuff, from a financial perspective, it's really bad from the stores. But that's because the boxes have been designed to be that way, which is a problem. And as we talked about in the Sunny video, in the Sunny React, if you haven't seen that already, you cannot make a box give you more value than you paid for it. That's just a fantasy that's completely, like, illogical. You can't do that. You cannot buy a Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster box and then expect to get more than your value without luck being involved. And when luck is involved, you have huge swings in the quality of the box, which is how it works in the TCG. So some boxes, you pull from it, you get like $5 worth of value because the secrets you pulled were completely ass and worthless. On the opposite end, if you pull the right secrets, I very vividly remember Burst of Destiny like 2 years ago. I pulled like DPE and Moe, which like I made like double my money back. But on the other side of that, you could pull like, I can't remember what the bad secrets were, but you could pull like bad secrets and then the box would be worth like literally like $7 or something. So yeah, that's what happens. But again, the problem there isn't like, oh, then therefore we need to make all of the best Yu-Gi-Oh cards high rarity and we need to keep making like really expensive secret rares and price out players from competitive unless they want to spend $100 per playset on all these meta-defining stable. Well, no, it's because like the box itself is designed in a way to be a loss. But that's okay. Boxes being losses is fine from a value perspective when you pull from it. What you need to do is give people a reason to buy a box from a shop, from a shelf, for a reason that isn't trying to plus. You shouldn't buy a box because you're trying to make your money back. You should buy a box because you want to draft it. You want to pull cool special rarity cards. You want to have fun pulling from it. Because you cannot design boxes to be profitable. You have to design boxes to give you something that isn't a financial investment. You have to design boxes in a way that makes them exciting and fun to pull from, that give people a reason to buy them. which people don't have currently in the TCG. That's the problem. But apparently, according to MBT, it's that's Macedo is killing it.
Less.
But anyway, that's
And
whatever.
when they order less, the local scenes will suffer, and you'll have stores stop supporting Yu-Gi-Oh! Then the community starts to crumble. And there are more casual players or semi-competitive players than there are truly competitive players like myself, or even the people who only go to 1 or 2 YCS a year, right? Those still aren't the majority. So numbers will fall from the base level first, and then it'll trickle up, but that's a huge problem. That's the future of the game. That's the base of the game. It's scary, right? Because those people will stop playing because they have nowhere to play. They'll have nowhere to buy cards. Now, it's also...
Trickling up is such an interesting way of putting it, but I guess like it's up or down depending on which rung in the ladder you want to consider it. Like either you look at maybe competitive players are the base of Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe it's actual casual, because it's funny how it works in other games. Like the base like core of the game is like casual players for like Pokemon or collectors really, but in Yu-Gi-Oh it feels like the competitive players are the core base because it's like the product is made for competitive players, whereas in Pokemon the product is made for collectors. That's why they have such a bad scalping issue. But Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have a collector thing. House of Champs says that in order for a Yu-Gi-Oh set to be good, it needs to satisfy 3 conditions. It has to make competitive players happy, it has to make collectors happy, and it has to make casual players happy. Yu-Gi-Oh is pretty much can never really satisfy all 3 of those conditions. Just by how the boxes are currently designed, it's pretty much impossible to design boxes that way. They just don't work that way. And Konami need to find a way to satisfy all 3 of these player bases. Otherwise, the game is in serious trouble. Macedo is the only thing that can really keep it alive at this point. Until they do something drastic to fix the TCG side of things. Because otherwise, yeah, people will like go play other card games. They'll pick up One Piece. They'll play Lorcana, which I think is hilarious because the Lorcana world champion is a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh player. Or they'll just go play Macedo or some other games, right? Like, you can't keep doing this, especially when there's other real competitors happening out there.
So a bit of a debate in terms of...
If only there was a way. OCG rarities, what the fuck is that? Well, we're not gonna... That's a different video, but we're not gonna get into that again. It's... The OCG rarities could be a reason to fix the game. It wouldn't be good money and profitable, but it could give TCG players a reason to buy boxes. But that's a different video. Let's not get into that. Let's focus on Jesse's response.
The cause and effect here, right? You could say that maybe we are seeing what, say, Jeff is saying here at the start. When you're competing with magic-breaking sales from clouds like the Sonic or the Avatar, the Final Fantasy, Pokemon One Piece have been dominating as well. Maybe the alternatives in every other game just feeling better than Yu-Gi-Oh right now is having that effect to decrease demand. And with the decreased demand, oversupply causes prices to plummet. Either way, it's not a good thing for Yu-Gi-Oh, right? It means there's a problem somewhere, and it's an actual problem that's affecting the community. I want to show you guys one other opinion, kind of going over what may be happening on Yu-Gi-Oh! Now, this is from Ollie from Tier 0 Games. If you aren't familiar with Tier 0 Games, they're actually my sponsor. So make sure you guys check out the link below in the description box where there's a link to their store. They sell cards constantly, but notoriously, they are fantastic for pre-orders. With the code Jesse5, you have 5% off.
Make sure you use my code. Don't use Jesse's, even though... Okay, fine. You can do it once. You can use Jesse's because he's made a good video, but you can use Farfa5 as well. Smile.
As well as on their YouTube channel, I do post content as well. Small little plug, but I do want to show these guys my appreciation because they've been a great host for me for the last 9 months now I've been on the team, or 8 months. And yeah, make sure to check them out. But anyways, Ollie is the owner of Tier 0 Games, and he is a huge vendor in the realm of Yu-Gi-Oh! So he does have a lot of input and weight to the words he says, and I wanted to share it to a broader audience. So I've seen a lot of opinions about the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Product and why it's failing so badly. As someone who's opened tens of thousands of booster boxes over the last 7 years, here are my thoughts on the rapid demise of Duad. The set itself actually isn't that bad. It has a lot of what we typically look for. New archetypes that'll be popular to some point, interesting, though currently weak TCG exclusive deck, and playable cards across multiple rarities. And yeah, I mean, obviously shouldn't have to back it up, but I'll explain more from my thought processes, because I'm also a Yu-Gi-Oh! Vendor, albeit to a smaller degree than Ollie, and I've done it for probably about 7 years myself. From Duad specifically, the new archetypes that'll be popular at some point, referring to the potential behind Art Mage cards, because those could go up in value in the future. That creates demand, speculation, and does, in theory, lift prices up. The people opening the set need to have value, otherwise they're not going to buy the product. And again, that goes back to the root issue of supporting an ecosystem that is Yu-Gi-Oh! Interesting TCG exclusive decks. This one's a bit fishier because you don't know this when you order the product. Rebel bots, who knows how good they'll be. They have the makings of potential, but that is a constant theme among
God, I hate that.
And then playable cards in the immediate, right? Holly Sue for Vanquish Soul.
07 to RB being Ritual Beast as the acronym.
The Sky Striker cards are somewhat playable as well, but I'll continue on with what Ollie says. However, it suffers from a recurring issue in Yu-Gi-Oh! Sets at the moment. Without a new staple or potential staple, a set is only as strong as its best deck. And this is where the current problems are really starting to show. Since April, we've known
So again, yeah, that's the problem, right? It's like the very foundation and the formula that they use.
Yeah, that's why.
Well, thank you, Doug. Good morning, everyone. The very foundation and the very core of the design of the current TCG product system and boxes are just set up to fail, or set up to be set up in a way where they are going to cause the game to be really expensive, or set up in a way where they're going to cause huge losses for stores. So yeah, again, can't repeat it enough, can't emphasize this enough. Yu-Gi-Oh! Product needs to give people an incentive to want to buy the product that isn't just, I need to pull the best meta staple deck or something like that. It needs to have something worth buying for collectors, for whales, for casual players. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Product does not do a very good job at satisfying those audiences.
Justice Hunters was coming, and with it, what now appears to be the top of the decks of the format by a wide margin. So he's talking about, with Justice Hunters coming out in about 2 weeks, we're going to see 3 tier 1 strategies come out of it. Vanquished obviously has roots in older sets,
rares.
but the K9 cards, which are highlighted in the deck, and really propel it to the top
You say
status.
that, but like it
Drake
would
Tail, a deck that was
unironically
dominant before,
like do a
Vanquished
lot for
came out
product.
in OCG because they had a different set release order. And then Yummy, a deck which is kind of competing with Vanquished Soul right now as the second best deck.
Do you think the Eternal format we have is also a problem that causes sales to go down? After all, a lot of people that only play one deck and one deck only, so they don't buy a lot of tins, packs, and cards, and decks being 20 staples is also something. Why buy every 3 months a new Ablos when my current one is legal? Yeah, I mean, again, that just kind of goes back to you need to give people a reason to buy product that isn't, I'm going to put this card in my competitive deck. Because if it's low rarity enough, you just buy the single. If it's high rarity enough, then the supply-demand nature of it means that more boxes need to be open. Therefore, game stores buy more. Therefore, they sell more. Therefore, stonks go up for Konami. But then the players have to pay the cost for that by the cards being really expensive. So it just goes back to more reasons to want to buy boxes. There is no good reason to buy a box. I have never really been a person who buys product, especially in Yu-Gi-Oh! But the best set, in my opinion, was Rarity Collection 1, because it was really fun to buy from. I bought random loose packs of Rarity Collection, just for fun. I have never done that in my life. Why would you ever buy a random loose pack of a core booster set? Do you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to. It's ugly, it's pointless, it's 8 random crappy common cards, and maybe one, well, you do get a foil, but it's like, what, like a 15% chance that it's like actually playable, 5% chance that it's insane. So yeah, that's my personal experience of why I don't buy packs and why I don't buy boxes.
And in some cases, arguably even better. But still, those are the 3 decks that all seem to be very relevant in the upcoming format. It's all Justice Hunters. We see a complete meta shift and a sort of change in life cycles in Yu-Gi-Oh! That happens often. The change in cycles over to Snake Eye, change in cycles over to now it's Ryzeal, and now we're shifting an entirely new lifespan or format in Yu-Gi-Oh! And obviously, it's not format because there are different ban lists within these
good structures
formats,
help
but
as well.
You see different cycles and lifespans of these sets. And
probably
decks.
not more, but yeah, they just need to
atypical,
keep making them
consider a card
consistently
game.
good. Like,
So how do we fix this? No idea. If I had the answer, you'd probably making the games instead of just selling them. But a lot of the ideas have already been mentioned. Better rarity distribution. We all want affordability, but there needs to be balance. Lately, too many strong cards are printed in low rarities and need to stop devaluing rarities. There's so many rarities you don't need to have, a chase rarity also being a tin promo.
So like, I don't like this solution. This is a solution that technically works if you keep the current system and model. But the problem is that the current system and model is going to still be at a point where you're going to have large swings in deck costs. You're still going to have expensive cards. Like, it doesn't really fix the core issue with product if you just make some really expensive cards and some accessible cards, right? Like, you're still kind of like, you're compromising for 2 different camps where no one's really getting everything they want. Whereas I would like to see a solution that satisfies everyone. Vendors, which in the end like keeps the game alive. Stores, which satisfies collectors, which satisfies casuals, which satisfies competitive players. Maybe it's not possible to do that. Maybe you can't have one box satisfy all those conditions. But you can definitely make like multiple different boxes that can satisfy different players and hopefully. I don't know what the answer is either. Like Ollie said, I'd be fucking working for Konami and making money if I had the answers to that. Actually, no, they give you a salary. It would probably not be very good. Anyway.
I don't like that solid rares have gone from being this chase thing to 4 centuries became way too affordable, and then they become every 10, and now solid rares aren't really special. And you can say it's cool for the player base, but collectors need to have a place in Yu-Gi-Oh! They need to still...
This is a good point as well. Like, people like sometimes Like, people were really, like, you know, people who just don't understand the business side of thing were, like, very happy, and they were celebrating the demise of Starlight Rares. They were like, haha, yeah, now everyone has Starlight Rares. Now everyone has quarter centuries. Because they're basically the same thing, but it's like, okay, cool. First of all, Starlight Rares gatekeep no one. If you can't get a Starlight Rare card, it doesn't fucking matter. You still get to play with the card. The most important thing that most 90%, 99% of Yu-Gi-Oh players want is accessibility. I don't care if my deck is all common. I just want to be able to play my deck and enter tournaments and have fun and not feel like I'm getting stomped and priced out by someone who bought better cards than me. If you want to spend $10,000 on making your deck look really shiny with all of these fucking insane, crazy swimsuit cum rares, that's fine. But that's good. Because that whale who is spending all of that money on the collection side of things, they are the ones who are keeping the game alive. They are literally just donating money to Konami and letting them make their revenue back. And eating the bill for the casuals and the people who want accessible cards. Like, we need whales. Like, genuinely, that's how, like, a game like this can only survive, is with, like, whales who are carrying the market. But when they did that with the quarter century rares, collectors had no reason to buy whale amounts of boxes, which in turn has hurt, you know, the TCG product side of sales, I can only assume.
Be appreciated, right? And they've been leaving in droves. And here's the important one that I really wasn't that kind of thinking about until Ollie brought it up. And that is better power balance across sets. The Justice Hunters really need all three of the best decks in the game. It's just greedy. If they were split across 3 releases, all 3 products would sell. And that's even without touching the power creep problem. So this is interesting because it's kind of what Master Duel does, right? Because
it's almost fun in a way when there's like a big set that releases a ton of crazy new archetypes at once. But from a business perspective, it like you're putting all your eggs in one basket type of thing. Like, you're putting like all of the best cards, all of the best decks in one set, and then it's like, okay, cool, that set's gonna do insane, but the other sets are gonna rot on the shelves. Yeah, you need to balance it. Now, from a gameplay perspective, I don't see that being a good thing. That would suck. Because what happens is, he's about to talk about Master Duel, and guess what? I'm sure for those of you who are actively playing Master Duel, you know what the problem with spreading the release out is. You log into Master Duel, it's 90% Malice. Everyone's playing Malice. From freaking Platinum to Master 1, everyone is playing Malice. There's Lancias, there's Fuas, and it's miserable. So we're basically waiting for Ryzul to save the game. So, you know, it's give and take, right? From a product standpoint, stuff, this all makes sense, but from a gameplay perspective, this is terrible. This is terrible. Malice is free? Okay, dude.
Think back to...
What do you mean Malice is free? What are you playing? Are you playing Labyrinth again?
Tier and Sprite. They weren't released simultaneously in Master Duel. Think to, even in the current era, Ryzul at the time of recording this has not even been announced in Master Duel, but Malice is out. Where in the TCG, this entire new cycle and wave came at the same time. It means that the sets before Justice Hunters don't matter. Therefore, why would people invest in them? Why would they buy cards from them? They know will be obsolete so soon. So that kind of premonition of Justice Hunters coming out...
Sorry, I know I've been pausing too much, but this comment goes so hard. Malice swimsuit all arts would save Yu-Gi-Oh! This is unironically true. I'm not a gooner. I wouldn't even play them. I wouldn't buy these cards. But do you understand how true this actually is? This is a complete truth duck, okay? This is an extra normal summon of a fiend or a zombie. Truth duck.
Creates this like stock market like trend of forcing product prices down. The problem, however, is if you release these powerful decks over several releases, is you might find yourself in more frequent tier 0 formats and give less choice to the players, because until all of those power...
Okay. Jesse's so fucking smart, dude. This is why this video is so much better than MBT's. Like, he's just so smart. He's hitting the nail on the head on everything. Dude, Jesse woke up this morning. He could have had cereal. He could have had nuggies. He could have eaten anything he wanted, but instead he decided to eat facts. Wait, no. That's not how that saying works. He could have spat anything? Wait, how are you supposed to use that? He's speaking English, but all I hear is facts. I fixed it. All right, let's move on.
Powerful decks come into rotation to create that new Yu-Gi-Oh cycle. You end up with what you have like right now in Master Duel, where Malice is just far and away the best deck. And if you do that with every...
Literally pre-watched. He's so smart. He's so smart. I'm so smart as well, but he's also really smart.
Sort of powerful release, then you'll end up with constant pocket formats. It could also mean that Yu-Gi-Oh just needs to change its products mapping like for the entire year.
Oh my god, he's so smart. Oh my god. Oh, I just want to kiss this man.
So many sets. They already have slowed down, which is good, because releasing junk sets is not okay.
He's a
This right now
fax
is a weird
machine.
state. Ollie does add some closing remarks though. More than anything, he thinks Yu-Gi-Oh needs something new. It's not collectible right now. Yep. It only has one format that can reliably sell cards, and that's top heavy. Casual play seems to be disappearing. I don't run an OTS. I don't know about this. I know the locals enough, and it's hard for me to say, but me running a channel that has a lot of
If you're a casual player, what reason do you have to buy Yu-Gi-Oh product? I don't know what you had in terms of reasons before, 5-10 years ago. I really don't know, to be honest with you. Star packs were crazy, I guess, for casuals, stuff like that. But what are you supposed to do as a casual player? What are you buying a pack for? What are you buying a random loose pack of Duad for? Gambling? Like, literally. Like, go to, like... There's nothing in this game for, like, casuals and collectors at this point either. You know? Like, literally just donating to the LCS? OTS.
casual content. I don't know how true this is. It may just be that it's more shifting towards Master Duel because it's more friendly for it, as well as it's easier to play on a casual level, which makes sense. Final point in your never-ending thread. You think that Death in the Anime is the biggest loss. We always have this to push products, and because of that, it feels like I have to retrain anime cards so many times, even they rarely feel special anymore. So that's something I also don't really think about. We used to get excited a lot more for DM support, Blue Eye support, Red Eye support, and while we still do, the lesser appreciated ones, like even Hero support, it's less monumental now. It's almost commonplace in Yu-Gi-Oh! And they are kind of just repeating tired themes of sorts. It's a lot of things to ponder on, because it's not an easy solution. If Yu-Gi-Oh! Had an easy solution to this problem, then I'd hope Konami would do it, right? They have to be aware of this problem. This is not something they can just sleep on. This should be DEFCON 5. Konami needs to address. This should be a bigger problem than prizing. This should be a bigger problem than maybe one bad YCS or whatever, because...
Or one bad day. No, this is yeah, like, it's very common in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. As an old head, I've been around for a while, I can tell you, like, we have had a couple of bad sets here and there. There's been core sets where they just are completely worth absolute total skips. They have like one relevant meta card or something, but historically, like 5+ years ago or something, the reason why it was okay for that to happen is like there would be like some chase like collector card. There'd be like some shiny like hero support, or there would be like some popular archetype that had like a card, but it was casual, so it didn't really have much meta relevance. There would be some, high rarity thing that you could get that was kind of beautiful, but and collectors would buy that. But now, after they killed off collectors with quarter centuries, replacing starlights, like, and we've also had multiples of these so far, right? Duelist Advance sucked. What was the set before this? Suda sucked. From a gameplay perspective and stuff, they were like okay or whatever, but like from a marketing, financial, local game store type of situation, those sets had nothing. Alan, yeah, it's like we're going on to like the third core set in a row that is completely like worthless for stores. So yeah, DEFCON 5, this has to be like immediately addressed, like yesterday.
This will have huge impacts. Now, this is just one box price Duad. I want to show you guys the more full effects of the market. I'm gonna go through some of the tabs I've opened here. Duelist Advanced boxes, if we look now, I think it's maybe even a couple hours over date. It may be even less now. It's dropped another 40 cents. Look at this graph. This is abysmal. This is below cost for OTSs. There's some OTSs that are smaller will buy only a little bit of product to support the local scene, but larger scale vendors that support the community, like Gamer's Choice, Tier 0. I'm not crazy large, but I order a large amount of product.
Look at this graph.
When you're ordering like cases in the multiples of hundreds, I don't do that, but others like the ones I mentioned before will. Think of that loss, right? That's multiple times a year. That's really bad. And that's not even counting the work that all this is, right? You have to actually work to lose money. So you can see why stores are discouraged. And it's not just Duelist Advance. Alliance Insight's even worse. Like, look at this box price. Prices are down here, and despite small little upticks, it's trending down. And maybe it's up from $34.
Is there like a semi-recent set that is worth like its value still? Sealed? Like months later, in an ideal world, the box should be worth higher than its MSRP, right? Isn't like info like good or something? Surely info's good, right? That had fucking Beansmith, right? Rage of the Abyss, that's it? That was like almost a year ago, man.
It gets to the point that it's so low, people may just buy them out. And you see, I think that's what happened here a little bit. Because when they're that cheap, it's just like maybe gamble on for the future, but $38, this is nothing. Boxes being this low is pathetic. Supreme Darkness is not much better. This was before Justice Hunters being announced, so this may have some value to Ollie's theory, but this set was deemed as not great. Ready distribution on this made no sense. The Mitsu cards all low rarity, so no one would have to pay much for them, barring 2 Ultras, which ended up being a bulk of the price. And Eclipse Twins being super meant that most cards went in the set, besides Meowls, weren't.
I mean, it's crazy, right? You look at these numbers as a competitive player and you're like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. I can pick up these cards for like 50 cents each, a dollar each after shipping and fees or something. This is incredible. But you can't, like, what do you do as like a store? Like, you know, what do you do as like a game shop? Like, you're making nothing from this.
Hard to get. So the set ended up like this.
That
and it's not
shipping
good.
was more expensive than Eclipta. 131. The shipping is worth what? 4 copies of Eclipse Twins? That's not even a legal number you can put in your deck list.
Besides Meowls, weren't hard to get. So the set ended up like this, and it's not good. And this is even with hero cards in here, right? Like if hero cards had some QCRs, which they do, you'd hope that would drive up some collectible price. And it does to some extent, but not enough to really bring it above a good price. And again, this is still losing money after fees. That's not the reality. It's still work to lose money. And the side sets are no different, right? Battle Legends, it did recover a little bit, but 51, 52, this is not profitable, and it's still losing money. Now, thankfully, we are almost at the point where this can bounce back. You can see there is a couple dozen listed, but after that moves away, we do get to 57. This is not good.
Does it say like how many is available from each of these sellers? Like, price pieces.
There's
Bro, this guy's trying to undercut everyone. He has 42 boxes of this shit just sticking around. What is the set? Oh, Europeans, look away. 5 from this guy, 13, 12, 24, like...
a couple dozen listed, but after that moves away, we do get to 57. This is not good. This is still not profitable for companies, but it's no longer sound the alarms level prices. This set did fare a little better because it has some more collectability with the
bad,
chibis,
right?
the Blue Eyes, Solid Rares. Blue Eyes has been the only collectible card that, despite multiple high
What kind of paradox is this shit? Seller goes prices too low and player says prices go too high? Exactly. That's because the actual formula for these boxes are bad. Someone loses out. That's the problem. That's why product sucks. Like, if you make product that's good for vendors and the health of the game, it's bad for, like, players' accessibility. If you make decks and product that's good for players' accessibility, the stores lose out. The whole system is rotten. It needs to be, like, reimagined from the ground up.
prints in the last few months has maintained a good price. The OTS
I don't think like trying to juggle the balance of this
Stampede,
is
the Starlight Rare in Mayhem, and even the stamped one from
Wait, what's he saying about
despite
collector stuff?
some more collectability with the chibi, sound the alarms level prices. This set did fare a little better because it has some more collectability with the chibis, the Blue Eyes, Solid Rares. Blue Eyes has been the only collectible card that, despite multiple high rarity prints in the last few months, has maintained a good price. The OTS Ultimate, the QCRs in Stampede, the Starlight Rare in Mayhem, and even the stamped one from the WCQ seems to be priced very well. So they're using it as a lifeline right now. And I get it, but it's rough. Now, you may say, but if the box prices are bad, what about singles, right? Because what if these stores open the product instead and try and sell the singles? Let's look at Alliance Insight. March Hare, most impactful card in the game, was $60 on release. Months later, $17.
Wait, why is it so cheap?
And I know Nationals or WCQ has just passed, so they may have dropped a little bit as players are selling their decks, but even before that, they were $20. Still, the best cards in the set cannot be that cheap. Even $30. Even $30. The most expensive card in the set is not a QCR. That's freaking nothing. And what if I change the filter here? What if I instead only show QCRs? Let's show how much QCRs are worth. There are some worth okay money, but so many of them are actually worthless. You can pull your 3 QCRs in a case and pull $45 in cards from QCRs. That's not collectible. This is all so sad. Star Rise was a playable card. It's nothing. It's nothing.
I assume that this is because of the collector exodus from Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Like, there's no reason to buy these as a collector, right? Because I guess they were so hard done by the Starlight change. QCR isn't a collector rarity? Because there's too many, right? Yeah, you need to make them like ultra rare. Not like literally ultra. I mean like, you know, super rare. Wait, no, that's another rarity. You need to make them incredibly rare for them to have value.
Nothing. Now, you can argue
Omega rare,
that
Giga rare.
as a product of sets dropping in
Swimsuit
price,
rare,
the
man,
game
come
becomes
on.
affordable to play. But this being the way we have reached this destination is nice for now and will quickly kind of derail. Because the game will suffer in large as players stop playing or stores stop supporting it. And then as scarcity rises, prices move back up. And then Yu-Gi-Oh! Becomes volatile in prices. You don't have formats that are incredibly expensive and worthless. That being said, I don't know if cheaper prices can fully be established with Yu-Gi-Oh! Being such a competitively driven game. I think the best way to do that is to have one deck be really cheap and other decks not be. That way, people have options still to compete cheaply, but if you want to play different decks, they can do so. But still, myself looking to
Ugh.
buy Yu-Gi-Oh product in the future.
That's like the middle ground compromise, which technically works, but man, it would suck, right? You make like two decks as like equal power, two meta decks, right? One of them is like super cheap and one of them is like super expensive. Well, ugh, God, I don't know. Oh, like you're kind of just pigeonholed into playing the one that is cheap if you don't have the budget for it, right? And if you play the expensive one, it's like some people don't care about the cost of it, but like, you know, if you have to spend hundreds more for the best, technically best deck that might be like 5% better or something, you know, you're forking over like hundreds more, just as just for like the gain of playing something, I guess, that you like more than the other playstyle potentially, or like if you're looking at it from a purely competitive aspect, it's like slightly better, but not that much better. I don't know. Tenpai wasn't cheap; it needed charmies. Tenpai was really cheap at its core. You did need like expensive staples, but it was like absolutely doable to play like budget Tenpai per se. It was like obviously like worse, but that's the point, right? It's like it's not going to be the best, right? You if you're only willing to spend $100 on like your deck, then yeah, like naturally it's not going to be as good as as another deck, right? That is a budget of 500 or something for sure. But like at least like you can compete, right? Like you have a chance. It's not like you're gonna walk or you're gonna rock up to locals and you're just gonna get curb stomped like 06 against everyone that looks in your direction. That's the difference, right?
I'm heavily debating every choice now. Now, with this all said and done, we talked about how Justice Hunters is coming out and it'll change the format. So how is Justice Hunters doing price-wise? Well, it's not out yet, so we don't really have a clear picture just yet. We can look at pre-sale prices, and it looks good. This is still not like a point where I'm screaming, Yu-Gi-Oh saves a ton of profit. When I'm looking for a higher price set to make good bank on as a vendor, I'm looking for $80 plus typically. That's when I'm really happy with my margin. You can see here, though, that prices have gone up already, if anything, which is a good sign. It means there is demand here. It may give further proof to Ollie's theory, though, that this kind of metric of released sets, with us knowing the future, leads to sets being like this is not a good thing. But this set looks fine. And
yeah,
maybe Yu-Gi-Oh
like,
is fine after.
That's a whole other fucking can of worms, huh? Like, OCG setting the meta for us 6 months in advance. Like, I mean, yeah, like that's that's a whole other topic, but you know, we don't need to get into that one today.
Overall, but I'm concerned because this pricing thing is a huge problem. It is all part of, again, this ecosystem that is Yu-Gi-Oh! And its health and its community. And when one thing falters, and by the data, it has faltered drastically, it's not long before other things got to sink. As far as other fixes go, one other thing that may have to happen is a simultaneous release date for Yu-Gi-Oh! Products. The only reason we even know about Justice Hunters being so good, and it's for...
Like, yes, I'm down, but I'm trying to think, like, what color of pig would have to fly through the sky to be more realistic of a chance of that happening than OCG, TCG having simultaneous release? Like, I think there's a chance I would see, like, a blue pig before I saw, like, a green pig. Before this happens. Oh, yeah, it's a great idea. I love it. It's just, they're never fucking doing that. Not in a million years is that happening. Digimon did it? Oh, well, it's a good thing that Digimon owned Yu-Gi-Oh! The trading card game.
For one reason. OCG gets the stuff way before us. It lets us pick and choose with our money, and
TCG's unironically moving closer to OCG release recently, and the branded structure is going to be a simultaneous release. Listen, I'm not against that. Absolutely, would be. I'm so sick and tired of OCG setting the metagame and being ahead of us and just like getting to play with all the new cards before us, and we're just sitting here like basically copy pasting deck lists for the first like month of our metagame. But yeah, like it would be great. It would be so fun. It would be really interesting. But like, is it gonna happen? I don't know, man. I just think like the dinosaurs over in the Konami shareholder office are just like, no, Japan is like the prio for whatever reason, and in my opinion, I just see that as the way it's gonna be.
Makes these products kind of bad, right? Because this kind of stock market type of speculation effect really can affect the market and hurt stores. Simultaneous would fix that a fair degree. And for all we know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is doing that, right? Again, this is completely off of my own speculation. I have no insight on this. Do not quote me as an official source, please. But think about last core sets, right? Everything's been pushed back. The core set in the summertime used to be posted or published or released in August, but now it's early July. Last time it was mid-July. Think about the Halloween set.
Wait, is that true? Like, so that means they're moving further away from release? No. Oh no. Well, I guess like depending on if Japan is. Oh, I guess that's technically a little bit closer.
This time, Doom Dimensions. It's coming out in September now. We're moving sets closer together, and the time between us and OCG for core sets specifically is closing. I'm hoping this is a sign we're moving towards a simultaneous release.
Wait, so what was that exact gap?
Core set specifically is closing. I'm hoping to get about the Halloween set. This time, Doom Dimensions. It's coming out in September now. We're moving sets closer together, and
like 2 months? But these are different sets, right? Okay, I can't math on this. Jesse says they're moving closer together, so yep.
And the time between us and OCG for core sets specifically is closing. I'm hoping this is a sign we're moving towards a simultaneous release. I don't know if the logistics are significantly harder for Konami for that. I
believe
don't
it
know
when
if
I
it
see
would
it.
actually help the game.
Hell yeah.
But it would help us with having more interesting formats at the start of set releases. It would help the game sync up for just community's sake. And I think it might help the sealed product thing as well. So it's a good fix in theory, and it might actually be what's happening. So interesting to kind of take note of. But that's all I have to say. And I'm curious what you guys have to say as well. Do you think this is all a bunch of bullshit? Do you think this not matters at all? How do you fix it? Do you have other reasons for explaining this? It's
Well, you see, Jesse, the problem is Master Duel is killing the game actually.
a touchy subject, and I hope that we have answers, because I've mulled over the idea of switching card games before, but I don't really want to. And if Yu-Gi-Oh dies, I would not have a choice. So I'd like to see the game stay healthy, and hopefully you guys agree too. But also let me know if you want more discussion videos like this. Discussion videos are hit or miss, because it also depends how topical they are. And they're not always going to be a good discussion.
Guys, you gotta send this fucking
when there's
video
something
to
important
them.
to talk.
Like this is just the best video on Yu-Gi-Oh's state of affairs ever made. Like better than anything we've seen in the history of this game over the last like 15 years of discourse that we've had of Yu-Gi-Oh's done. This is legitimately the most important video. Like, yeah, it's unbelievable.
I feel like I want to
Doug needs one now.
to express my opinions, because I played this game for 20 years, and I've also been involved in the community.
I'm not sure he didn't mention Master
through
Duel
many
killing it.
several
Okay, sure.
avenues. I've been a coach. I don't know why I said that first. I'm a competitor.
Are you so mean to Joseph? I'm not mean. It's just like it just like wasn't true. Like it was just wrong information. Anyway, so like, yeah. I think like the only thing I would have loved to have seen Jesse do is maybe give more personal input on what he thinks the solution is. Like he did give some suggestions, like simultaneous release and balancing the set releases of like the meta decks. But like just like the actual structure of boxes, he didn't really talk too much about. And I think it would have been cool to see what his ideas are for like how would he change rarity distribution? What would he do to like the physical box contents? I have my own ideas, but I'm curious what Jesse thinks as a vendor.
At the local level, at the ICS level, at the Worlds level, I've been a vendor
Wait, did you guys know that Jesse won Worlds?
for the last 7 years, and I'm a content
Wait, he never talks about that. Has he mentioned this before?
creator. So I really see almost every aspect of Yu-Gi-Oh! And this one is one that's struggling the most for now. But with that said, guys, see you next time. Hopefully, for many more years to come. Peace.
Like I said, dude, Jesse, I think from being from Canada, could potentially speak French. He might speak English, but today he just fucking spoke facts. What are these dislikes? Are these people stupid? These people are actually completely brain dead. Like, these people are at the core of their skull, like actual room temperature dogs. Like, they are so unbelievably dumb to dislike this video. They are... People are so stupid. Me, when vendors can't sell us secrets for $300 every 3 months and decks coming out are all affordable. Yeah, I mean, this is the problem that Jesse probably should have seen coming. He didn't explain enough as to why or how you fix that. Like, the point is like, in order for product to thrive and for the game to survive, which is through vendors, is to make expensive cards, etc., etc. That is true. But the problem is like, that foundation, that system needs to be changed, you know? And it is like the literal reality of the situation. Okay, you don't have to agree with it, but that, like, mathematically, economically, that is the problem, right? And that, or rather, that is the solution or the temporary solution. is you go back to the model of every meta deck is like 3 secret rares and expensive as shit, etc., etc. That's how the game stays alive, quote unquote. But that's the short-term victory for vendors and for, well, not even vendors, for the game itself. Because I know it sounds crazy to say, and I'm not trying to like defend like vendors, because you know vendors are basically landlords in Yu-Gi-Oh. We know the meme. But like ultimately, like their success is the success of the game, right? Because Konami makes money, and then there's more reason to make the game, etc., etc. But that's like the short-term solution. The solution is like we need the long-term overall fix of everything. Because if product keeps going this way, yeah, the cards are gonna be cheap. In fact, you know what? You might be able to get a full tier 0 meta deck for $50 next year. Do you know why? Because no one's gonna be left fucking playing this game because everyone's left. That's what's going to happen. Yeah, your cards are gonna be really cheap because no one's gonna be playing this game in a few years if it keeps up like this. So yeah, I don't know, man. Make high rarity cards. Make special rarity cards. Literally, I don't give a shit. Like, make swimsuit come rares if we have to. Make promo cards. Make special like tokens in core sets. Make sets draftable. Put like, there are solutions. There are things that they can do to make boxes attractive that aren't just the meta competitive expensive staple. They have to. Anyway, thanks everyone for tuning in. Please go give the original video lots of love. If you like this video, if you like my reaction, then it couldn't have been possible without Jesse. So please go watch his original or let it play in the background for the watch time and leave it a like and subscribe to both channels. This is just such a well put together and explained video. It is everything that is wrong with the game from a business and economic perspective. And yeah, the solutions are there. They need to take inspiration from other card games. And hopefully, like, this works out because everyone wants the game to succeed. Ideally, that's why you're here, I assume, is because you're watching Yu-Gi-Oh content. In the next reaction, bye-bye.